Welcome to the ISBA Section and Committee Officers Orientation. I'm Vincent Cornelius, President-elect of the Illinois State Bar Association for the year 2016-2017. First, please accept my deepest appreciation for your commitment to our association and to our profession. Section councils and committees are the backbone of the ISBA, and your leadership is vital to the success of these groups. In this webinar, we'll briefly discuss what is expected of you as an officer and provide suggestions for a successful year. First, you will hear from Ms. Ava George Stewart, current chair of the Criminal Justice Section Council. She will discuss ways which officers can be effective and best practices for conducting a meeting. Then you will hear from 3 professional staff members who will address continuing legal education programming, ISBA publications, and working effectively with your staff liaison. In the coming year, I am asking that you focus on 3 tasks. 1, as you prepare to lead your council or committee, set realistic goals. You should select a limited number of worthwhile, doable projects. We suggest 2 or 3. Then devote full resources to making the project successful. Understand and embrace your fiduciary role by being fiscally responsible with your meetings and projects. Money does matter, and our councils and committees have been very good at staying within budget. Remember that ISBA's most important responsibility is to provide great services for our members. This should guide all of your efforts. As mentioned, our first speaker is Ms. Ava George Stewart, owner of the law offices of Ava George Stewart. Ava?
Thank you. Let's just adjust this down. All right, so I'm going to talk to you briefly about how to be an effective chair or an officer and some best practices that I've seen and experienced. Now, one thing that happened to me recently as I was chairing criminal justice was I had an opportunity to meet and visit other section councils as an observer. And one of the things I noticed with that is that these councils all work extraordinarily hard, and they are volunteers. So time matters a lot to them. So, first off, you want to figure out how you're going to motivate the members of your section council or committee. I would suggest that you introduce yourself and you set your meetings as quickly as possible for the entire term, preferably now. You really want to go ahead and introduce yourself to members, particularly those that you do not know, that are new to your section council or committee, or you've not had a lot of interaction with them. I chose to take an approach where particularly I saw new people coming on to the Criminal Justice Committee this year by literally calling them, reaching out to schedule a coffee, lunch, a chat, whether they were close in Chicagoland to me or I was going to be another part of the state, or if we could do it by phone, to figure out why they decided to get involved with the section council, what they wanted to accomplish by being a part of the section council, what their specific strengths and talents are, where they see themselves working with the council, and an opportunity for me to share my vision in order to build consensus prior to starting the term. Additionally, you want the ability to communicate effectively with members of the committee, obviously, the staff, not just your liaison, but also the ISBA staff and others. You need to have a willingness to listen, and you're looking for active participation and interest in the association. You want to know if your members are not coming to meetings, if they're not participating in calls, if they're not participating in email conversations, then as chair, as the leader, you should reach out to them. Find out what is going on and how you can assist them. You're looking for them to be committed and actively participating, particularly if you've got new members to the council or younger members. We have some really strong, active members who've been doing this for several years on councils, and sometimes new members aren't quite sure where they're going to fit in or how things are going to work for them or how their voice can be heard or what value they can add. So it's up to leadership, I believe, to bring that to them and make sure they're reassured that what they say and think matters. After all, the councils are committed to diversity And that diversity is balanced by both experiences and geography throughout the state of Illinois in order to best present the concerns of the membership. Now, when you think in terms of the association goals, as Vince mentioned already, you want to know, have you spoken to leadership? All right? If not, reach out and set up a time to do so. That means, have you spoken to the outgoing chair? Have you spoken to the other officers? Have you arranged to meet with them internally? Have you met with the leadership of the ISBA to figure out how the goals of your section council or group can lend itself to the larger goals of the ISBA? Have you talked to some members of the Board of Governors or assembly members from some of the areas to figure out if there are some synergies and connections that make sense? All right. Additionally, what remains undone? What could change the goals of the committee? If you're in a substantive group, has something hot happened during the term that's going to change or perhaps redirect the focus of the council? You want to address those issues and see where you can help lead that if there is a change. How are you going to inspire others? What are your plans for getting participation? Do you have the support of your officers? What about at least 2 or 3 additional committee members? You're always looking to engage the new members and give them a role. If they don't volunteer, ask them to assist in a concrete manner. Part of your role is to develop leadership and active participation across the group, not just for the term that you're serving as leader, but for subsequent years. You have a stewardship responsibility to this council or committee that you're leading. You want to be able to create a positive working atmosphere. You want to control without dominating in terms of the meeting. Your voice matters, but you are dealing with a group of really smart, caring advocates for that council. So you don't have to do everything. They're going to have plenty of great ideas, and they're going to come online and on board. You don't have to delegate the responsibilities. Now, in your meetings, kind of the nuts and bolts, you want to support orderly procedures. We can all get along even when we respectfully disagree, and I have seen it in criminal justice. There are some very heartfelt issues that people have as they're advocating for people who are accused of crimes, people who might be victims of crimes. All across policy matters, all of that matters. But there's absolutely no reason not to be respectful, no matter how actively charged the discussion can be. So your job is to facilitate that people have a safe and positive experience in these rooms as they're having these discussions. How do you understand the role of the staff? I would suggest you strongly meet with your staff liaison first and discuss what you want to accomplish. Particularly if you don't know the staff liaison, if your staff liaison for the committee has changed, you want to get to know that person and see how you can assist them. You also want to ask the staff questions when you're meeting in the offices, or how they can facilitate assisting you in providing the best environment conducive to supporting the work of your council and committee. Meet with your officers and discuss what you want to accomplish and how you see their role in supporting the council. Remember, you've got a stewardship responsibility. Frequently, the leadership moves up, so you want them to be in a position where they can take the reins when your term is done, because I can assure you it goes by very, very quickly. I can't believe that my term is done. When you are running a meeting, I'm smiling now because anyone who's watching this who's a member of criminal justice already knows this. Your time matters. Start the meeting on time. Do not wait. Others will get the idea. You can shift the culture of when meetings start by starting them on time. Also, end them on time. You want to also help folks understand what's going on. Some of your meetings, you've got a lot of business to discuss. You want folks to know that. If you can help your staff liaison with the agenda by time boxing agenda items, asking for time on agenda items before they go out to the membership, everybody can be prepared and nobody is concerned or surprised that when there are a lot of bills to be discussed, for instance, in criminal justice, that during the legislative term, that this meeting is going to go longer than 45 minutes or an hour. Please, please, please stay on track with the agenda as well. This is also the opportunity, because you know what's coming down the pipe, for you to guide it. So when you're out and about and you're meeting with folks, whether they're members of ISB or the larger legal community that have an interest that they think should be discussed on your agenda, make sure, again, you ask them how much time they need. If you're chairing that meeting to discuss it, allow 25 to 35% more time than whatever they say, so that you can have sufficient discussion amongst your members in addition to the time that they say that they need to present. All right, you want to think about being sensitive to feelings and issues. Your role is to seek consensus. Vince has already discussed that you want to set goals for the year that are obtainable. You want to determine what success will look like in a year, and you want to set no more than 3 attainable outcomes or goals. And I get it. It could change. It could change during the course of the term because something comes down the pipe that your committee or council feels strongly needs to be addressed. That's fine. You just discuss that with your council or your committee, and you build that consensus that we're going to shift what we thought we were going to do. Don't go it alone. You want to bring your fellow officers along and get buy-in. Again, be open and transparent. Let the entire group know and help to pursue these outcomes. All right. Finally, know that your staff liaison really is there to support and assist you. But again, you need to take some time to get to know them. Ask them what they can do for you. Share with them how you think they can assist you. And that's going to make your year a wonderful experience, just like my year has been with criminal justice.
Thank you, Ava. My name is Jeannie Heaton, and I'm the Director of CLE for the ISBA, and I want to congratulate you on your appointment as a section or committee officer. Today, I'm going to share with you the top 10 CLE tips for your upcoming year. Tip number 1, know that free CLE is a very popular member benefit. That means that you need to check the CLE online catalog to see if there's adequate programming in your subject area. And the address is there on the screen. Number 9, live on-site programming attendance is declining. Over 70% of our MCLE hours are consumed electronically, either by webcast, webinar, or through free CLE. That means that you need to select your format for your program very carefully. Now, what you're seeing now, I'm demonstrating the webinar format where you're hearing my audio and you're seeing my PowerPoint slides, and that can be done from any location. The webcast is what the other panelists are using today. You'll actually see a video stream of the presenters, and you can access, with either of those formats, access materials under the Papers tab. And I believe we've posted, for those of you watching live, we've posted the Officer's Handbook under the Papers tab on your screen. You can access that, or for those of you watching later, it will be sent to you. Oh, and then live programming. That option is still available, but we're using it less frequently. In your program handbook, your officer's handbook, you will find your CLE expectations for the year. And something new this year is we have requested program dates for you already assigned for spring 2017. So please check those out. Another thing we're asking you to do for you chairs, we're asking you to appoint a lead CLE coordinator. And we'd like to have that by June 1st so we can invite them to the coordinator training program during annual meeting on Saturday morning. Yes, it's early, it's at 8 o'clock. You're all invited to come too, or you can just send your CLE coordinators. And we'll go over some of the important things they need to know for the year. One of the things they need to know is that they have an online resource for CLE coordinators on our website that has the proposal forms we'll be asking you to complete, and that has, we have a faculty page that has some great resources in how to improve your presentation skills. Along that line, we're asking you to save the date of August 26th. We have a complimentary faculty training program coming up. We'd love you to send all your faculty to just brush up on their skills, or we even have a segment at the end of the day specifically geared to newer attorneys who would like to begin presenting at CLE programs. And so we're asking you as the leaders to maybe identify one or two of the newer attorneys who might be interested in speaking and send them to this program so we can continue to expand our faculty. Top tip number 2 is I want you to know that the CLE committee and CLE staff are here to help you, to help make your program a success, and to help you have a fun year. The CLE committee will appoint a liaison to your committee, and that person is a resource for your CLE coordinators and for you if you have any CLE questions, and of course staff is available too. Top tip number 1, ISBA has the best section and committee CLE programming in the business, and we just want to say thank you and keep up the good work.
Well, hello, I'm Mark Mathewson, and I am here on behalf of the ISBA Publications Department. And I'm here to remind you that nothing you do this year, and all the exciting things that Ava mentioned, big issues that will come up in front of you, nothing you do this year is more important than producing a quarterly newsletter. I'm really speaking to you, those of you who have a paid membership, and that's all of you who are leaders of section councils and some committees. You have a bigger membership than your section council. In fact, some of you lead sections that have thousands of members. Those members will not be at your section council meeting, and those members won't get the benefit of the great discussions you have around the table about new legislation and new developments in your area of law. For those people who are not at that table, the single most important and the one tangible benefit of membership they have is your section newsletter. When people join ISBA sections, we promise them that they'll get 4 newsletters a year. Now, the good news is that thanks to the hard work that you do and that your editors do and your newsletter authors, we almost always make good on that promise. With very few exceptions, sections and committees that have newsletters produce at least 4 issues a year. Some of you produce 12 issues a year. That's a remarkable benefit of membership for those section members. So we thank you for that. We produce every year well in excess of 200 newsletter issues at ISBA, and that makes our newsletter program one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the country. So we thank you for that. Now, what can you do to make sure you have a great year of section newsletter production? Well, there are 2 things I'd like you to keep in mind. Number 1, please appoint your newsletter team as soon as possible, and that means really before the annual meeting. You need to get a running start on newsletter production. Communicate those choices to Katie Underwood, who manages our newsletter program and does a great job at that. The second thing that you can do, and that I hope you will do, is make your newsletter a standing agenda item at your meetings. With all the important, exciting things going on, don't neglect the newsletter. Don't fail to monitor your newsletter production. Make sure you're on schedule. Help your editors by brainstorming topics. Assign topics to section council members. We know from talking to editors that when they have the active support of their sections, it makes their job so much easier. So, again, I want to thank you for all you do, and finally, just invite you to, if you have questions, if you need anything, please reach out to the Publications Department, that's to me or to Katie Underwood. We understand what a big job you have and what an important one it is, and we'll help you any way we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. So hello, my name is Melissa Burkholder, and I am a staff liaison at the ISBA. I want to address 3 topics with you today. First, the overall description and responsibilities of the officers of sections and committees. Second, some odds and ends, some housekeeping items, some questions that we hear at least once a year. And finally, the third topic is why getting this right is so important and how to work with your staff liaison. So first, let's address the duties and responsibilities of the chair. The chair, consistent with the association policies and overall mission, guides the group in the work as outlined by the group's mission and the direction set by the Board of Governors. There are 5 main responsibilities of the chair, including 1, working with your staff liaison to develop a work plan that will allow you, the group, to effectively and efficiently discharge its responsibilities throughout the year. Number 2, conduct meetings and communicate with the group on a regular basis. Number 3, with staff, ensure the work of the group and subcommittees is carried out in between meetings. Number 4, guide the group in proposing ideas that will further the goals and objectives of the association, where appropriate, of course. And finally, make recommendations to the Board of Governors via the Scope and Correlation Committee, again, where appropriate. So unlike the role of the chair, the vice chair has less of an obligatory role. The vice chair assists the chair in guiding the group's work and provides support by moving members toward active participation, decision-making, and achieving consensus. And the secretary is responsible for recording the minutes of the meeting. Prior to each meeting, your staff liaison will send you a document of the agenda, and this agenda is supposed to help you while you're taking minutes at the meeting. And it is suggested that those minutes be returned back to your staff liaison within 2 weeks. However, that's just a general guideline. With these definitions outlined, I now want to address the concept of leadership. It's hard to define leadership because it means different things to different people. However, leadership is more than chairing a meeting. It involves preparation, facilitation, productivity, and motivation. So prepare for your meetings. Don't plan to meet until you are prepared to use members' time effectively. As a leader, effectively facilitate all discussion by ensuring inclusiveness and full participation. Guide, mediate, probe, and draw members in to the discussion. Keep the group productive between meetings. Provide the group with charges and goals within the group's overall scope of work. And ask your staff liaison for help in this. And finally, as an officer, motivate the group to participate and create buy-in at meetings throughout the year. Our next topic are the few odds and ends, some housekeeping items. So let's talk about the budget, the big elephant in the room. Your section or committee has a budget. This budget is set by the Budget and Audit Committee. This budget is allocated for member travel expenses and meeting expenses such as meals or facility rentals if applicable. The budget is not used for events, sponsoring non-ISBA related programs, or any CLE programs. The CLE programs have a separate budget which is managed by the CLE department. So next, let's address a few ISBA policies and rules that we have questions throughout the year with. From an ISBA historical and practical perspective, it would be accurate to say that there are no bylaw provisions or standing policies that require business meetings to be strictly governed by Robert's Rules of Order. However, it is a best practice to conduct business meetings in this manner. So moving to ISBA Bylaw 3.8. Section councils and committees are prohibited from making any public statement on behalf of the association unless it has been first approved by the Assembly or the Board of Governors. Reports, recommendations, or other actions of the section council or committee may be released as such action of the council or committee only when it is determined by the president of the ISBA and meets certain criteria. And finally, in this section, we should address the fine art of setting an agenda. So first, work closely with your staff liaison in developing the agenda. Sequence the agenda items thoughtfully. Meetings are like many team sports. They need to warm up before they are ready to tackle the tougher work. Start the meeting with the agenda topic that will unify the council or committee, which will set the stage for the group to work together. It is suggested that difficult topics should not be placed at the end of the agenda when people are less likely to tolerate difficult discussions. And so prior to each meeting, your staff liaison will send you a draft of the agenda for you to make changes. Once you are comfortable with those changes, send that back to the staff liaison, and that staff liaison will disseminate the agenda and all corresponding materials to the group. It is best practice to send this about a week in advance of every meeting, but again, that's just a guideline. It's not always adhered to. So this brings us to the final topic of the day, working effectively with your staff liaison, and why getting this correct is important. Staff liaisons are professionals. They serve as an informed resource to the officers and members of the council or committee. Liaisons assist the chair in facilitating discussions and activities that address the group's charge. They work with the chair to ensure that all committee work is consistent with the association's goals and objectives. And they report to the section officers and committee officers on the decisions of the assembly, board of governors, and of course the scope and correlation committee. Staff liaisons are often called the association's jack of all trades, as they must have a wide breadth of knowledge to share with leaders. Staff liaisons are familiar with governance, parliamentary procedures, finance, communications, meeting planning, negotiation, and leadership. So why is getting this right so important? Getting this right will make you look good. Your colleagues will look to you as a leader. Your general comfort level will begin to increase the more you practice these techniques. Getting this right adds to your already long list of accomplishments. It is also important because it lays a firm foundation for advancement within the ISBA as well as other organizations. The biggest reward will be your own fulfillment. Being an officer of a section council or committee is hard work. However, we really hope that you enjoy it. Your commitment to the council or committee will not go unnoticed. If you have any questions or find yourself before any meeting not sure what to do, contact your staff liaison. We are here to support you. So thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. Thanks.